Hey, 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 happy Tuesday at 2 from Circle B Diecast here in Concord, North Carolina. So glad you joined us. Steve Post from Motor Racing Network. Glad to have you along the way. I hope we have all survived our summer break, our summer vacation, our Olympic break, our Olympic vacation. I'll tell you this right off the top of the show. While it has been a summer break for NASCAR, while it has been an Olympic break for our friends at NBC, and while all of us have been just enjoying some downtime, Lionel has not enjoyed some downtime because they have been shipping pallet after pallet after pallet, and our crew are working just as quickly as possible. In fact, talking to some folks that have been here for a while, they've never seen the crush of delivery after delivery after delivery. So they are getting them out the door. If you've got stuff that's pending and know that it's arriving, just give us a little dose of patience, because I am telling you, and they throw in a vacation day here and a vacation day there, and the next thing you know, it's like they are working their tails off around here to get it out the door to you. So a little bit of patience there. I'll start right off with that, because for those of us going to the races, summer vacation is over. It is set to go, and I cannot wait to get to Watkins, Glen this weekend. Mike checks in on the pole position, then Lamar, then Alex, then Daniel, then James are in here, and we're just glad that everyone has joined us. And yes, James, we're glad you got your Spencer Void veteran truck yesterday. Glad to hear that. Really, really cool. Good stuff for sure. And it's a little bit what we're going to talk about is some Spencer Boyd love here today on the program. That's our featured diecast that we're showing here today. But the downtime for NASCAR, it's been interesting. I'll say this. Now, as those of you that know me, I stay awful busy anyhow. And so I've done a couple sprint car weekends, and then did take a little downtime last week, and then went up to Hickory and did a Cars Tour race on Saturday night. So I'm always out at the racetrack. But it was interesting, the downtime. It was fun to see what the drivers were doing. It was fun to see what some of the crew members and crew chiefs were doing. And but now everyone is elbows up, because we've got 14 more weeks to the season and a champion to be crowned. A champion to be crowned in the Cup Series, champion in the Xfinity Series, champion in the trucks, and well, let's even talk about a championship run in the ARCA Menard Series. So it is going to be great. It is going to be a great fall season. We're glad you joined us here today on the old Circle B diecast review. So good stuff for sure. Big news today, and Alex references it in his question. What do you think about Ross Chastain moving to the 1 for Trackhouse next year? Good for Ross. Ross has been one of those guys that has zigged sometimes when his rides have zagged. He's had a few deals where the carpet was yanked out from under him. He landed with Chip Ganassi Racing last year, and he'd been with Chip Ganassi Racing on and off for some time, just trying to wait for the right opportunity. Apparently the folks at Trackhouse, who are the new owners at Chip Ganassi Racing, felt he was doing a decent job, and so Ross Chastain has signed to be Trackhouse. I like what Trackhouse is doing also. I like another thing they're doing. Ross is going to be number 1. Daniel Suarez is going to be number 99. So they've got the first number and the last number in the team over there. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything real creative and fun with that. But good for Ross Chastain, one of our guys here. We've done a lot of vehicles over the course of time with Ross. In fact, at one point it looked like Ross might be dropping by here today. But he's busy signing contracts. And I hope he's cashing checks and putting them in the bank. Or either that, or he's plowing some fields, a couple 100 acres of watermelons down in South Florida. But congratulations to Ross. Alex, I think it's great. I think Ross Chastain is poised for some great things. And I think if you're sitting here and you're Ross Chastain and it's early August, you're kind of in a state of shock, because you don't even know what the fall month is supposed to be, because you're not going to be knocking on doors and ride hunting. You've got your ride locked in, and they can start to work forward on all of those plans. So good for Ross Chastain, and great to hear that. And I think he's a tremendous add for Trackhouse Racing. I think that Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez combination is going to be pretty good as we roll into next year. So I like it, Alex. I like it a lot, and I think that is fantastic. Fantastic indeed. So if you've got a NASCAR-related question, type it in there, and we'll see if we can answer it. If you've got a when will my diecast arrive question, there's not much I can do to help you. I don't have all of the stuff right here. And as I said, we're just busy. I would run back there. And say, Tracy, when are you going to ship out my diecast? And then I would need to pick my head up off from the floor and carry it back in here and give you the answer. So I ain't doing that. I love you guys to death, but I'm not getting decapitated by an overworked shipping clerk. So you'll get your diecast, and if you do need to know that sort of thing, you can send us an email or a direct message, and they'll get with you as soon as possible, but not the questions on there. And James wants to know, where does Matty D land? I don't know, James. I don't know. I love Matty D like everyone else does. He had that ride with Bob Levine and did well over there. He's had a couple of years now, or will have had when he's done, a couple of years with the Wood Brothers, and has done all right. Matty D needs to win a race. And I just don't know where they're at with that. I think they've made some changes. I know they made a crew chief change, and I think they're running good. The problem that Matty D has now is we get into championship season, and there's a whole lot of people that get running good this time of year. So for a guy that's not won before, it's going to be a little bit of a tall task for him to get up on that wheel and win that race, because when you look at those drivers, the drivers that win the championship, there are teams that peak during this next 14 race or 10 race stretch that we have at the end of the year, and that makes it awful difficult for a guy like Matty D. So I don't have an idea, James, and I haven't been in the pits since Road America in July, or July 4th weekend. And so I haven't had a chance to put my ear to the ground and see where speculation has him going. So I don't really know. I think he does land somewhere. I just don't know where that is. And when the musical chairs game ends, who's left standing up? And I hope it's not Matty D, but I think that's also a possibility as well. I think Matty has stated that he wants to stay in the Cup Series, is not necessarily inclined to go Xfinity or Truck Series racing. I find that interesting, and may play into this. Of course, if you're facing September, October, November, and there's nothing in the Cup Series, you may all of a sudden think the Xfinity and the Truck Series looks a little bit more appealing than it does in the month of July. So stay tuned. I'm not even sure. I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. I just I haven't been in the garage enough with the PRN race weekends. We had it at Atlanta and New Hampshire, and then the off-season break. Like I said, the last time I was in the Cup garage would have been Road America on the 4th of July. And so we'll get back in there at Watkins Glen, and if anything's going on, we'll see where he ends up. So neat stuff, and appreciate it, that's for sure. And Alex wants to know, how many guys do you think are getting their first win of the season between now and the playoffs? I still think that Harvick or Hamlin will get a win. I don't know if both will, just because there's only 4 races. I still think Harvick or Hamlin will get a win. The other one that I might keep an eye on is Tyler Reddick. The problem with Tyler, here's the problem with all of that, Alex, is I don't know. You look at road course racers. There's nobody that jumps out. Maybe a Daniel Suarez, but I don't know about that, because 2 of these 4 races are road courses, with Watkins Glen this weekend and the road course at Indianapolis. Michigan. I think when you look at those 3 races, I think that's where a guy like Harvick or Denny Hamlin could. I think one of those 2 guys, they're A, so good of drivers, and B, with good teams, that there's not a shocker if they win anywhere. So I think one, maybe both do, but one of those guys maybe does. The challenge, I like where Tyler Reddick is. The problem of it is that we don't have an old Homestead or Darlington in between here. He's going to need to get up on the wheel at a road course. Michigan is a more traditional oval track. We'll just have to see. So if I had to ask, how many guys do you think get their first win of the season? I think 1, and I think it's either Harvick or Hamlin. So I don't think we have a major mix-up. Now we've got a battle for 16th between Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick, teammates, as to who'll be 16th in the points. I don't think that's it, but I don't know that anyone behind there jumps up. Now watch. Somebody will go win Watkins Glen and just totally gum up everything I said. That's my feeling on it, Alex, and we'll just have to see. Hey, how about this? This is Spencer Boyd's patriotic truck, all right? This is really, really cool. Is our side camera? Okay, side camera's open. So look at that. Look at that. You got the Circle B Diecast logo on the top, okay? Military theme on the side of that bad boy. And there on the trunk deck are all your names. So we've got all the names on the side of it, and it is autographed by Spencer Boyd up on the front. So great looking truck. They just arrived, as we heard from, who was it? James said just got his, and so they're in the mix, being shipped out. As I said, the mix is wide open right now, but they are in the mix. But that's a good looking truck there for Spencer Boyd. Love the military feel on the side of it with the flag with the stars on it, and just a good looking truck. for Spencer Boyd and the Stars and Stripes. So there you have it. If you haven't got that, go on to circlebdiecast.com, type in the name of Spencer Boyd, and who knows what you might find on there. You might find all kinds of things. So great stuff. So there you have it. Spencer Boyd's truck, our featured truck this week here on our Circle B Diecast review. Rob wants to know, who is Blaney's crew chief? Yeah, Todd Gordon is retiring at the end of this year. I think you need to look, and I don't know who these people are per se. I think you need to look at who's a team engineer on that team or a team engineer on one of the Penske cars. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Austin Cindric, where Paul Wolf ends up going. Because does Paul Wolf get with Austin Cindric in the 2 car? And maybe it's been announced and I missed it, or does Austin's what's his name? I've done interviews with him and everything else. I've got a blank. Austin's Xfinity Series crew chief come on over. Brian Wilson come over and do the Cup Series. So, or does Brian Wilson end up getting paired with Blaney? So I'm not sure. That's a great question as to who is the crew chief of Ryan Blaney when we look to 2021. I think that engineering pool is a good spot to look at. But if Brian Wilson, let's see, we're looking at, well, now they're saying Jeremy Bullen's crew chief for Austin Cindric. Okay, so they have announced some stuff there. All right, I'm looking at our NASCAR.com. Ryan Blaney, crew chief, not available. So go to 20, where's the other Penske car? 22, Paul Wolf with Joey Logano. Oh, that's right, Jeremy Bullens was with Brad Keselowski. So they're saying, well, now this is saying that Jeremy Bullens, yeah, I had Paul Wolf. Paul's with Joey, okay? So looking for Jeremy Bullens, then maybe Brian Wilson either moves up with Austin Cindric, or Brian Wilson goes on that Blaney car, or maybe Brian stays put in the Xfinity Series. So I think that's an interesting question. It's a great question. I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. AJ says Larson will be the Cup Series regular season champion if he doesn't have any problems. Yes, that is correct. If he doesn't have any problems. And Denny Hamlin will be the regular season champion if he doesn't have any problems. So AJ, yeah, whoever performs well is going to be the regular season champion. Those two are pretty close in points right now. And so one little hiccup by either one of them, and that means the other one is performing better. So we'll just have to see. But it is interesting for sure, and it's been what we thought was Denny Hamlin's regular season championship has certainly become a battle with Kyle Larson. Now, I'm not a betting man against Denny Hamlin either. He's pretty good on all the tracks coming up, as is Kyle Larson. That's the good part about it is we've got two guys that are really, really good. And so we shall see what happens with it. Going to be fascinating. It really is. And I think that's what's fun about where we're at with this season, with 4 races left in the regular season. And Watkins Glen, that we haven't been at for 2 years. It's a new rules package for Watkins Glen. Indy, the road course, we haven't been there. New Hampshire, which we've been there last year, ran a double there. Kevin Harvick won both of them, by the way. Okay. And then Daytona, the wild card race. So I like your point there, AJ. The problem of it is if Kyle Larson gets caught in the big one at Daytona, or if Denny Hamlin gets caught in the big one. So your point is right on. If they don't have any problems, there's a lot of minefields between now and the playoffs for everybody, particularly Daytona. That's a minefield for everyone. So we'll have to see. Stay tuned. That's why we're going to tune in. And AJ, that's why you're going to listen to Motor Racing Network, right? Yes. Or tune in to our friends at NBC. It's all good. It's going to be fun, that's for sure. So, yeah, great stuff. I'm excited about this part of the season. We've got 14 weeks to crown a champion, and we've got the first 4 here that are going to set the field and set the lineup. We know who the bulk of them are right now. We're just going to see how many winners we have ultimately, who wins the regular season championship, how they line up, so that when we go to the Cookout Southern 500 at Darlington, Labor Day weekend, we are championship bound with our 16 drivers. So fun stuff, that's for sure. And it's always fun hanging out with you all here at Circle B Diecast. So it is great. So again, I want to just mention what I did right at the top of the show. We are getting pallet after pallet after pallet of trucks. Pallet after pallet after pallet. Okay? Yes, James, it ends this season. Watkins Glen is the final race of the truck series. We're getting pallet after pallet after pallet of trucks, so of diecast. Okay, just a little dose of patience. And unless you want to come walk into the back and ask Tracy about it, if you want to do that, more power to you. But we will have you sign a waiver when you walk in that any injury is sustained to you for poking the bear of the tremendously talented, wonderfully skilled, outstanding worker, Tracy. But she is overworked right now. So we'll get all the diecast out to you. Trust me. You know why we want to get them out to you? Because we don't charge your credit cards or your debit cards until they ship. So it's in our interest to get them out to you as well, and we will do that. Fun stuff, that is for sure, and it is cool. Great, great stuff. Hey, I'm out of here. I'm getting to Watkins Glen, baby. We've got 4 big races on Motor Racing Network. ARCA on Friday night, Trucks and Xfinity on Saturday, and the Cup Series Go Bowling at the Glen on Sunday. I'm Steve Post. Remember, for all your diecast needs, go to www.circlebdiecast.com.